This is going to be a long video, there's so much to talk about. Here it is, the highly anticipated sequel to the other comparison video I did about the 20th anniversary Harry Potter sets. Before I get too far, I want to explain exactly what I have here. This kit over here is the new Hogwarts Chamber of Secrets set that was just released June 1st. Over here is actually two kits. First of all, we have Hogwarts Castle from the original 2001 wave, and I've also attached the Chamber of Secrets from the 2002 wave. This kit really is the combination of both of these. It has the Hogwarts Castle elements, but it also has the Chamber of Secrets underneath. Just keep that in mind throughout the video, that this is one single kit and this is two separate kits combined together. These kits were made to be stacked on top of each other, and that is the effect that the new Chamber of Secrets was trying to recreate. So for starters, let's talk about Minifigs. With the two sets over here, there's a bit of crossover, so we get two Harrys and two Rons. But for unique minifigures, we have Hermione, Draco, Dumbledore, Hagrid, Snape with a glow-in-the-dark head. We have this awesome Gryffindor statue. We have a ghost. We have Ginny, Tom Riddle, and Lockhart. And then on the other side, we have Harry, Colin Creevey for the first time. Ginny, Justin Finch Fletchley, also for the first time. We have Luna. We have Tom Riddle again. We have a glow-in-the-dark nearly headless Nick. We have Lockhart again, Madame Sinestra, and Dumbledore. So there's some crazy figs, a lot of uniques across both of these. This especially, we're seeing a lot of figures for the first time, which is really awesome. I'm a sucker for obscure figs in the Harry Potter line. And a big set like this is a great place to get a ton of them. So these are the minifigures from the Chamber of Secrets, and then these are the minifigures from Hogwarts Castle. And then these are from the new Hogwarts Chamber of Secrets. One thing that I really appreciate about this lineup of minifigures compared to this is the inclusion of capes across the board. Every minifigure that could have a cape has a cape, and they're in different colors. We get a lot of the starry black capes, but we get this sand red cape on Lockhart, which is incredible. We get this, I don't even know what the color this is. It's a discontinued blue cape, and we get this purple cape on Dumbledore. It's a great lineup. I feel like these characters feel more complete, especially Lockhart. You don't see Lockhart without a cape. Lockhart really would have benefited from a cape in this situation. This is a great look. It's a little disappointing that nobody here has capes, even if it was just Lockhart. Just when I thought I had seen every print that we could get of Dumbledore, they keep coming out with more. And there's another exclusive one in the Fox set, which I don't know if I can get that one. Tom Riddle, this is actually the second flesh-colored Tom Riddle that we've gotten, but he is unique compared to the exclusive one that came in a book. But yeah, a great lineup of figs. We get the Sword of Godric Gryffindor, which came with the collectible minifigure series. Great stuff. Great stuff. Perhaps one of the most interesting things about both sides of the equation here are the basilisks they contain. So unfortunately, the glow-in-the-dark fangs that came with this guy are long gone, and you have to shell about $20 to get them new on Bricklink, so we've substituted regular fangs. There's a lot of specialty pieces in the 2002 Basilisk, the head, the neck, and the body pieces right here. This Basilisk works pretty well. There's lots of great printing all over it that really capture that eerie color scheme. The eyes leave maybe something to be desired. What's great about this Basilisk is that you can actually take the fangs out. It's not easy, don't get me wrong, but they can be removed and used as a weapon against Tom Riddle's diary, which is pretty cool. This snake obviously has a massive mouth, which, if you remember from my other video, is great for like eating minifigures like Ron. The biggest difference perhaps right off the bat is the color. This is done in sand green, and the new Basilisk is done in olive green. So the tail sections are nearly identical, so let's focus on the head. So it's really awesome we get this brand new head mold. It's a lot smaller, better in scale with the rest of the snake, unlike the massive head. Not as great for eating minifigures, don't get me wrong, but looks really, really good. I'm not really sure what's up with the teeth here. It's not bad by any means, but it just, if it were a different color, if it weren't tan, I think it would be okay. But tan just stands out a little bit too much. Otherwise, it's a great snack. I love getting this really intimidating looking creature compared to this rather goofy looking one. So here we have the Great Hall portions of each of these kits. there's a big size difference. What's great about the 2001 version of the Great Hall is the height. While it's a very thin model, the height, the grandeur is captured here. And a lot of people argue, there's a lot of empty space. But there's a feeling that this conveys that this does not, being so much shorter. And I think they've done a pretty good job of filling that space. So the instructions calls for a ghost to be hidden up here in the top of the fireplace. And I love how similar this fireplace looks to the one that you'll find in the film. I think that was really well done on their part. Another fun feature here is switching banners from Gryffindor to Slytherin, because those are the only two houses that exist. Interestingly, these are actually paper. I'm surprised they're still intact over all these years, because I've had this kit probably since 2004, 5. Compared to all the other 2001, 2002 kits, this is by far the best looking exterior on any of the models. It's instantly recognizable as the Great Hall. And I love how faithfully this has grabbed onto some of those details. And if we turn these around, I think those details become even more apparent, right? We have the banners right here. We even have a crystal ball on both, which blew my mind. I thought that was fantastic. There's a glow-in-the-dark minifigure head inside of this. This uses the Mysterio headpiece instead of the old crystal ball. For some reason, the entire model is dotted with poop. So, fun Easter egg. There's a fun play feature here where the table flips up to replicate a scene from like the Dueling Club. One thing that stood out to me while building the 2001 version of Hogwarts is that there's so many owls. There's 4 different owls in just the castle portion of the set, not including the Chamber of Secrets. So I was disappointed when I saw only 2 owls in the new 2021. However, it makes up for this lack of owls by including a lot of frogs. I don't know who designed the set, but they love frogs, which is great. One of the great owl features of this set, though, is the golden owl lectern. It's a great use for that piece. Unprinted pearl gold. One other thing I should highlight too is the old wizard cards, which have been brought back much better and printed, but this is something very charming, very unique. Fun secrets on the old version include a throne that lifts up to reveal some goodies underneath, and there's also some treasure hidden in the fireplace. The feature here is that you push this in and the walls open, which works pretty well. I don't know what it means, but the Basilisk could come through those walls or something like that. On the new version, that's actually where the mouth of Salazar Slytherin is. And here's the mouth from the 2002 Chamber of Secrets. I love these, using the Ninjago headpiece, green and light bluish gray. That works really well, scaling this down to literally 2 pieces, but it's very effective. It's immediately obvious what this is. That was very clever. The mouth itself, they're obviously very different. I want to give some credit where credit is due on the 2002 version. Nowhere else in that set, or either set, the Chamber of Secrets or Hogwarts Castle, are there so many pieces densely packed together. It's very different when you get to this and you start placing down some 1x1 lights, 1x1 tiles. I think, as simple as this is, it's a pretty good look. The flowing beard accomplished with these curved pieces works really well. It's obviously a face, and it's kind of spooky. More so than this one. I think with the stickers and all the smooth edges, it becomes a little comical. And I've said it before, a lot of the newer wave takes on a more comical feel. But this, we have these slits for eyes, these sharp edges of the head. It's menacing, for something that could have come out looking really silly. I think this is very respectable. And then it opens up and there's enough room for the Basilisk to get through. So in this new set, this back rock piece actually comes out. I'll do that from the back. And that leaves a hole for the Basilisk to come through. Realize that so many of the pieces used here to create this simply did not exist. None of these curved tiles, this jaw piece didn't exist, these curved elements didn't exist, these didn't exist, this didn't exist, cheese slopes didn't exist. There's hardly anything here that was even available in 2002. And so, using the pieces available, this is a very impressive, and props to them. This looks good for what it is, but I can't help with being even more impressed by this for this time. I think something that glosses over a lot is humor, and there's a little bit of humor in this set. For some reason, there are little poops hidden behind the mouth on both sides. And there's more poop up there. And that's bizarre. I don't know why it's there. They could put more frogs. But they did it. And kids will probably enjoy that. Perhaps one of the best things are these cereal boxes. We have Pixie Puffs. They're gobbling great. Very clever. And then there's Cheery Owls, which is Owl Cheerios. It's adorable and funny and completely unnecessary. This is what the old kids got right. Adding just random stuff for the sake of adding random stuff. And I love that this has been brought in just into these kits. You don't see these sort of things really in any of the other new kits. Just these anniversary sets. And that's great because that's super charming. All these unnecessary details that add so much life. Those are the best parts of the build. That's what makes these kits so fun. So here's the tower section. In the 2001 version of Hogwarts Castle, it housed a library, and then the Gryffindor common room up above, and then this was the Astronomy Tower. So things are changed up a little bit here. Lockhart's classroom on this floor, Lockhart's office on this floor, and then we have the Astronomy Tower, just like the old one. I think the change here was a smart move, but keeping the style so consistent, awesome. Makes me very happy. So all these can even split apart further with the towers sections being removable, just like this. So what's interesting about these, unlike the Great Hall, which had a very similar footprint, this is actually a little bit smaller. We're missing out on an 8x8 extra, which is fine. They packed a lot more detail into these than even the old sets, which is very interesting because that was not the case with Fluffy Encounter. So spinning this around, there's just some great simple stuff at work. We have another one of these staircases, which leads up to a portrait of the Fat Lady, which serves as the entrance to the Gryffindor common room. And down below is the library. Great thing about this kit was it came with a lot of unique books. So there is a shelf dumping mechanism, which is great for making a mess. But that came with one exclusive book, two exclusive books to this set. This green potions book, and then the screaming book from the restricted section. And then this red book on herbology shows up a lot in some other kits. Under these staircases are kind of annoying. Underneath here is just a little crate with a 1x1 printed book tile. Over here is an interesting feature where by spinning this section of a wall, I can turn this fireplace around and there's a chest with some gems inside. This is just actually accomplished by a rubber band around regular 2x2 round plates. Above that is a little owlery. Got two owls in there, a white and a dark gray. Up here in the Gryffindor common room, this is where that knight statue would go. He's guarding a gem, you can see. He can spin around to reveal the gem on the other side. This feature is like quite extravagant for what it is, but by pulling down this lever, this pops open up top, and there is a chrome brass key. And up here we have yet another book. This one has a 1x2 spell element printed inside, and then a telescope. Let's quickly compare what we've got here. Instead of a book, we have a stickered 2x3 tile, which has the Bionicle reference on it, which is pretty great. This is actually a glow-in-the-dark orb. And then there's this telescope, which kind of blows the other one out of the water. It does make use of several pieces that did not exist, including the Fez element and the stand. But this is pretty sad. Two 1x1 cylinders. It can rotate, but this looks great with the lenses of the gems. Really fun shaping on there, and it has a great range of motion. Meanwhile, on the interior here, these are amazing. Another unnecessary addition, but we got Cornish Pixies, and it's this sparkly, milky blue. It's a new color as far as I'm aware. Really, really awesome. And two of those are included, along with a new candle piece. Another unnecessary addition, but cool piece. And lots of great Lockhart stickers all around. Some of the humor comes back in here. Like we have yet an extra wig there. Man, there's some fun stickered stuff too. Underneath is a slide to get into the Chamber of Secrets. Piles of bones down there. It looks pretty good. I don't like the arch pieces, but it's a pretty good space. The 2002 version of the Chamber of Secrets is similar to the other side in that we have a feature. We can take down the walls in a more dramatic way just by knocking them over by pressing down on the water. And behind is a sorting hat and a spider. The new set also came with that fantastic new sorting hat mold as well. So yeah, there's a clear winner here. Fox is not included in the new set, which kind of surprised me. But the 2002 Chamber of Secrets came with a Fox one-piece mold with that orange tail there that minifigures can actually grab onto. This is just a wild piece. It's so different looking than any other Lego mold I've ever seen. It's so detailed, like the feathers in there, the eyes, the beak. I'm kind of entranced just looking at it now. It probably doesn't hurt to include a few odds and ends here. This is actually the entrance to the Chamber of Secrets from the 2002 version of the set. So this actually includes the bathroom. The bathroom is technically a separate set in the new wave. So how this works is pretty simple. Knock this down and you create kind of a slide to get into the Chamber of Secrets. That's all there is to it. It's very simple. Sets itself up. There you go. Got a minifigure sliding down. Looks alright. There's a snake. Lots of animals. It's crazy. So many snakes, spiders, rats, and of course owls. And then this came in Hogwarts Castle. It's the boat entrance to the castle, and it came with a boat as well. And basically, I view these to be the same thing. They're kind of comparable. While this just feels like a build that was made using extra parts budget, this does do something really well, which is this snake door. It feels really authentic to the films, having the 4 snakes here in a different configuration. It's great use of that piece, and opens up to create an entrance to the Chamber of Secrets. And of course, there's yet another frog. 2001-2002 LEGO firmly believed that bigger is better. because look at the size of these things. The pieces are huge. The Chamber of Secrets portion of these are built up from 12 by 24 black base plates. No, I take that back. It's a 12 by 24 brick. This base is a whole brick thick. It's massive. It's a ridiculous amount of plastic. And it's all one piece. It's great for building like vignettes on top of. It's a lot of big parts, 1 by 2 by 5s all over the place. We have lerps, all sorts of things. Much like the fluffy set that I compared a few weeks ago, this comes together very, very quickly. It's an easy build, it's a satisfying build. You get a lot of volume for your buck, or back in the day. However, you of course sacrifice a lot of those nicer details, which you will find on the facade of this. There's a lot more going on in the details, especially in the front of the newer model. But I don't think we should discount a lot of the detail work that happens in these, because these interior spaces are packed with all sorts of fun critters and things to play with as well, which is really cool. There's a lot of little Easter eggs that don't really mean anything specifically Harry Potter, but they're super fun. I suppose I'm at that point where I have to decide which one is better. And much like last time, perhaps I'm going to cop out of that again. It's hard to compare these two, because this has that nostalgic charm that is so hard to recreate in any way, shape, or form. These kits will always mean a lot to me and a lot of other people. There's something about them that LEGO would not dare recreate today in the way they're constructed. They're fragile, but they're bulky. There's a certain charm to the way these things are built. On this side, we have a beautiful kit. It preserves so many of the great details that were introduced back in 2001 and 2002. And this kit does a great job of building upon some of those things that worked really well in this kit. I love how faithful this is to the original. You cannot deny that these two sides are based on each other. These things have so much in common, from the Basilisk to the shape to the structures they included. I love that this kit has been so faithful to the original. It made this so much more fun to build as I saw these details come back to life. More so than fluffy, I think this set is successful just because the interior spaces are so delightful, just like the old kits from 2001, 2002. If you can get your hands on these somehow, I would totally recommend it. This is not something that's going to look fantastic on your shelf, but I think anyone who builds one of these kits is going to find it incredibly enjoyable. The build process here is, in my opinion, superior just because of how easy and quick it is. It's very satisfying to build. This build comes together relatively quickly for such a large set, but it's just not satisfying in quite the same ways. You spend a lot of time on some repetitive detailing. However, this is a great display piece. I think even though the style is different than a lot of the other Harry Potter sets that have been coming out in this newer wave, it will still fit pretty well in with those other kits, like the Clock Tower. I know a lot of people are upset about the sand green being brought back, but it creates such a great tie-in. I cannot be upset about it. It's great to see this tower again in sand green. That's wild to me. And to get these made in sand green is super useful as well, because this is a piece that never existed. It used to be this 4x4 kind of funky looking cone, which is the opposite problem of what I have with this. It's too shallow, this is too sharp, but overall, great kits, great minifigure selection from both. Some of my favorite minifigures, Lockhart, that knight, great stuff. Yeah, I don't have a lot bad to say about these kits, so you can get your hands on them. I think you'll enjoy all three of them very much.